The Russia-Ukraine war have drawn the condemnation and disapproval of Russia by countries around the world and by the United Nations. By assumptions at the very beginning of this war, it appeared that Russia, the aggressor, was marching to victory. It is believed by many military experts that Russia's mission was to overthrow the Ukrainian government, replace it with a puppet leader that does Russia's bidding, and assassinate the democratically elected leader of Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky. Presently, in the sixth month of the war, Russia is at a period of stagnation and is not winning. Their progress have stalled. It is believed by some military experts that from about late 2021, maybe about the month of October, Russian troops began to gather in large numbers mainly at the southern section of the Ukrainian border and at Ukraine's northern border with Russia, with easy access by Russian troops to the city of Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. The Russian troop numbers by some estimates were believed to be approximately up to 140,000. At first it appeared that the Russians were winning. They had a convoy of trucks, tanks, artillery, APCs, missiles and other military support and supply equipment that stretched for 40 miles. But with improper planning and poor logistical strategy, the Russians began to run out of supplies of gas and food along their journey from south to north to capture the capital city of Kiev in Ukraine. During that time, the Russians were like sitting ducks and were picked off one by the Ukrainian troops lying in wait at different points along the convoy's route. The Russians, who had anticipated dominating the Ukrainians in this war, became bogged down as their troops were attacked and slaughtered in the thousands by the Ukrainians, who fought bravely, brilliantly, and with courage against the occupying Russian invaders. The Russians were at a disadvantage due to very poor planning and corruption within the highest level of the Russian army, which is now exposed in this battle of their vulnerability due to such corruption and poor planning. Some of the Russian soldiers began to abandon their vehicles in search for food from the local Ukrainians and also to rob and kill them for their personal possessions, and also due to a campaign of hate. Businesses and residential properties in Ukraine were and still is being attacked. Widespread robberies and genocide of Ukrainian civilians is being reported to have been carried out by Russian troops. The city of Bucha in Ukraine were overrun by Russian troops, and it was revealed after the Russians retreated that hundreds of bodies were found in that city, of civilians with their hands bound behind their backs who were shot in cold blood. The Russians had tried to cover it up by burying most of these murdered residents in mass graves. The International Criminal Court launched an investigation in these acts of genocide committed by the Russian forces. The Prosecutor General of Ukraine had launched an investigation and have so far charged a Russian officer with murder of a Ukrainian citizen, and was given a life sentence. He was convicted of this crime. A parallel investigation is being launched by the International Criminal Court. Many military experts believe that the orders to kill Ukrainian citizens and attack civilian infrastructure was given by Vladimir Putin himself, the president of Russia. There is every indication that Ukraine now has the upper hand in this war and is in a great position to defeat Russia and drive them from even Crimea, that the Russians have occupied since 2014. The recent explosions at Russian ammunition dumps, the killing of about 12 Russian generals and many other military commanders, speak volumes of the incompetence of the Russian army, and the superb intelligence capabilities of the Ukrainian armed forces. It is clear that Ukraine will prevent Russia from any further success in its military campaign in Ukraine and is likely to defeat the Russians in this war. If Ukraine does not win outright, it still has the chance of making the lives of the occupying Russian forces an absolute misery for years to come.
The Russians withdrew after being surrounded and defeated in the north of Ukraine in their quest to capture Kiev. They retreated to concentrate on the Donbass region of the country and believed that they could capture that section of the country, including the Crimean Peninsula, that they had taken in 2014 during an earlier invasion of Ukraine. The supplying of shoulder-held missile systems called Javelins, Stinger missiles and artillery given to Ukraine by Britain and the United States, plus a staggering array of tanks and other weaponry given by member countries of the European Community, seem to have changed the course of this war. One U.S. military official have claimed that close of 100,000 Russian soldiers have been killed and wounded in Ukraine, and that is making a difference in the outcome of this war. But the effectiveness of the Javelins are noted in the way they instantaneously transform a Russian battle tank into a death trap and fiery grave for every Russian tank that have been hit by these shoulder-fired missiles. The effects are devastating, yet nothing has had an impact on this war, as the very advanced missile systems, also known as HIMARS, that have been supplied by the United States, and the movable massive artillery guns supplied by France and Germany, that have now dampened any hope that the Russians has had for a victory. The supply of HIMARS have given the Ukrainians a great advantage that they did not have before, and that advantage is to now be able to reach Russian troops and their ammunition dumps, logistical headquarters, and supply vehicles. The capture of Severodonetsk by Russia, a region that is of strategic importance to Russia in its quest to take complete control of Ukraine, has only allowed for very minimal advances by Russian troops of lately. The presence of recently supplied HIMARS, a very advanced rocket system that can now fire missiles by the Ukrainians into Russian territory, and can now attack and explode Russian ammunitions, rockets and explosives that they could not do with such ease earlier in the war, have now made Russia's quest for total victory a tale of Putin's imagination. Mr. Putin is not in line with the reality on the ground. Total victory for Russia appears at this stage of the war a very unattainable aspiration for Russia. The United States Army stated on their site that the M142 high-mobility artillery rocket system called HIMARS is a full-spectrum, combat-proven, all-weather, 24/7, lethal and responsive, wheeled precision strike weapon system. HIMARS is a C-130 air-transportable wheeled launcher mounted on a 5-ton family of medium tactical vehicles XM1140A1 truck chassis organic, assigned to field artillery brigades. The current HIMARS includes an increased crew protection armored cab. HIMARS supports an expeditionary, lethal, survivable and tactically mobile force. It will launch all multiple launch rocket system family of munitions rockets and missiles. The HIMARS carries one launch pod containing either 6 guided MLRS, GMLRS, rockets or one Army tactical missile system missile. The recent bombardments and simultaneous explosions on Russian bases in Crimea and other areas occupied by Russian forces are evidence that Russia is losing. Without a doubt, Russia is the source of its own undoing. Its own corruption in its armed forces have become very obvious in the manner in which it has conducted the war, and incompetence, confusion and disorganization is the evidence that it will lose this war. When funds allocated for the development of the armed forces with new equipment and maintenance of inventory is siphoned off by corrupt generals in a kleptocratic state who steals from its citizens at all levels of leadership. It is a good thing to look at this war from a biblical perspective. You may view this on our channel with the topic, The Russia-Ukraine War. Is it a fulfillment of Bible prophecy? Hope you'll enjoy that topic too. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe, like, share and comment on this channel. And until next time, have a wonderful day.